Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Ruud. Nice to meet you. Nice people here too. Hi, nice to meet you all. Hi. Good to meet you. Oh, sorry, yeah. You came on. Hi, very good to meet you. Nice to meet you all. Don't worry about the cameraman. Nice to meet you too. Cheers.
Yeah, I'll try.
Thanks, guys. We'll stick to the usual format today then. Looking live in the first section, and we'll go into the written section in Bargo at 10:30 tonight. And as you know, we're on a bit of a time limit, so appreciate everyone working with us to stick to that 2 o'clock stop. And we'll start with Dan Kahn from Sky.
Thanks, Johnny. Afternoon, Ruud.
Hi.
First of all, congratulations. After speaking to the club, the chairman, you mentioned Enzo Maresca as well. What made you feel Leicester was the right fit?
Of course, when the first approach was there, and you're going to think about the club and the players and the setup and the training ground and all of these questions you have, and you're curious about people who work there. And of course, Enzo, being a great friend and a former teammate, he was the first one to call. And what better information could I get? And but to be fair, when we played against each other in the Premier League game where I did the interim against Chelsea, half an hour we spoke, and I didn't know yet about Leicester, but we spoke about it, and he was already quite positive, and very positive actually. So that only got better when I spoke to him, and I have to say he was absolutely right, being according to the first impressions that I get.
And for you personally, you've obviously worked through the age groups at PSV, your national side, you went back to Manchester United as well. On a personal level, what does this opportunity mean for you to be in your first job in the Premier League?
Yeah, a lot. I think to be managing this club and this group of players and representing Leicester City in the Premier League, for me, I'm very excited. I'm proud to be able to get the opportunity. The conversations that I had 2 times, I flew out to London to speak with the owner and the director. Were very good conversations and were important to get to know each other and what the ideas are and get together on the same page. And we're both very excited to in the end start working together.
And the last time we saw you was just a few weeks ago at Manchester United during your interim role there. It's the first time we've spoke to you since Ruud van Nistelrooy has taken charge there. So what were your conversations like with him as you left your position there? But did that kind of period give you a taste of management once again?
Yeah, it was a good period. It was short and intense, but I was happy to help get the club back. Steady the ship, I called it, and the 4 games, and now they're on a run of good results on top of those 4 games. So that's great to see. I really enjoyed it, being responsible, create a connection with the team, with the supporters, and able to turn the momentum for the club a little bit, and that is our job. And that felt great to do, and just got better. Now I'm in this position to do it again.
And just finally, you mentioned you were looking forward to meeting Jamie Vardy, and it's someone you've admired in the past. How has that first interaction been, and did he take long to mention beating your record 9 years ago? Yeah,
it's a problem, of course, that he broke my record. So that's what I told him straight away. I said, listen, we have a big issue here. We got to get out of the way before we can even start together. So. No, that was the first thing I actually said to him. So I think I just beat him, commenting on it. And of course, back in the time, I made a tweet about breaking the record and wishing him well. and then 9 years later, I think on the day, yeah, it's weird how things go sometimes, but good stories.
Hey, Ruud.
Hi.
Last time I saw you was at Carrington for your last press conference with Man United.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, you may have been a little bit miffed, the Sunday after that game, leaving. Has that experience not pitched you to be the right person at the right time to get this job?
I think those games, I have to be fair, what happened after the games and the amount of interest that all of a sudden was there for me, and the options that came along, I was astonished a little bit by it, because I thought, well, it's 4 games, and I've managed the full season at PSV, be able to win the cup and the Charity Shield, and the year before in the championship with young PSV. So I've been in coaching, in the 19s before in the national team. And it never got this reaction from the football world. So apparently it provoked these reactions, and I was only happy with that, and to get into conversations with different parties and be able to make a decision that felt really good for me, and now I'm here.
When you look around, I think a lot of people will be surprised at the facilities here. Is this like a little gem that you're lucky to have right now when you look at everything here at your disposal? Yeah,
it's amazing. I mean, everybody tells you about how great the facilities are, and then when you come here and see it with your own eyes, like you say, it's hard to believe. And well, exactly a year ago, I was in Madrid meeting Ancelotti, and being 10 days with him and at the facilities over there. But if you change the logos, then it's similar, and it's fantastic, and it's an opportunity here for young players and for older players to use everything possible to develop, to get better, and become better players. And in the end, it's what it's about.
You're giving yourself a high mark there, if you're going to compete with them. But I'm just saying.
I wasn't saying that.
Dan mentioned Jamie Vardy. Now, the former manager, Enzo Maresca, said that he was probably the best striker of his generation. Forget Rooney and Harry Kane. What's your assessment, obviously, being a man in the know?
Yeah, no, it's somebody who has a career for a long time and has been performing in all these seasons. He's been fit all along. He's been producing and helping all the teams that he played for. Well, it's the only club he played for, but different teams because he played so long. And he's been producing, and he still is. And I think it's a great striker, and great to have him in the squad. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Ruud. Welcome. Conor Cody said after the weekend defeat against Brentford that we have to look as players at ourselves in the mirror. We are in a dark place at the moment. So how will you go about showing them where that light is and lifting spirits?
Yeah, I think that is what needed to be done. And the Sunday was the first time that I was here. Was it yesterday? It feels longer now. Feels longer. But yesterday was the first time I met the players and staff and members, everybody here who's working, and I had a meeting with the players, and it was the first thing to address the situation that we're in and the challenge that we're facing and what's necessary to get out of that situation where we're in. Obviously, with the run of results over the last weeks and the Brentford game, it's up to reacting and clarity about how we're going to do things. And of course, in 2 days, it's difficult to make a lot of changes. But as a staff, we started to make the changes that we think are necessary in the style of play and in the training sessions and in the structure of the team. But little by little, it's time to build a foundation of a highly motivated, fit team that can compete in this difficult league.
And Johnny Evans said in a recent interview that you were obsessed with defensive structure at Manchester United. How does that manifest itself?
It manifests in meetings. It manifests in drills on the training pitch. Yesterday and today, it's been a topic of discussion of how can the back four play together with the midfielders, the sixes in front. How high is the line? What are the body positions? Who's running? Who's following who? When midfielders run in behind, etc., etc. So there's a lot of detail in there, and we just started to share that with the players. And today was the first time we had the whole group together, and we managed to do a good unit work with the defenders and the defensive midfield players.
Have you been given any indication of what you might be able to do in the January window to perhaps freshen things up with players in and out?
Yeah, there was a topic of discussion. I felt that the two conversations that I had on different days were very open and clear. And for me, important that I know how things are planned and managed in the near future, but also in the little bit longer future. So the January window is discussed. What is also discussed, and it's the most important thing, is the current squad. And for me, the assessment, to really get a good assessment over the coming weeks, leading into the January window, to make those assessments, giving every player the chance. Also, the staff members that are staying is the same. I'm working together with the people that's still at the club. I'm looking to bring in more people. But I'm still keen on working with them as well, and then we can make assessments from there. So, and that's what was said in those meetings.
Okay, we'll go to Owen from Radio Leicester.
Hi, Ruud. Good to see you. You already mentioned talking to the owner ahead of joining Leicester City. I wonder what the messages were from him and the club hierarchy to you about this role and I guess their expectations.
No, it's clear, and the expectations are clear, and they are not easy, but they're clear, and it's something that we face that challenge to maintain and to play in the Premiership. That's the big target for us, for everybody, to achieve that, and if something I would say it was that.
How would you describe your footballing philosophy?
Yeah, I just started a bit about, of course, a back four and working together, but I think the structures that you talk about off the ball is a 4-4-2, where we're looking to give pressure on opponent and using different formations in that. But the basic structure in that is a 4-4-2. On the ball, there's a 3-box-3 that I like to use at PSV. Also at United, we were developing that, and it's something that's been very well developed here as well by when Enzo came. Obviously, in the Championship, being much more dominant, have a lot more possession than in the Premier League, but still is for me structures and also profiles of players that fit in those structures, and that's the most important thing. I saw that as an advantage coming here, that I'm used to work and develop these structures and translate it to the training pitch with exercises and drills. So it's something that it saves me a bit of work.
What are the key characteristics, though, of a Ruud van Nistelrooy side? What do they look like?
My sides, I'm thinking of one thing before any game that I prepare, and that's winning it. And of course, when you play the top teams in the Premier League or mid teams or lower ranked teams, it sometimes requires a different approach. And the style of play is adjusted on how can we win it. So I'm not the romantic type of manager that puts style in front of result. I love style. I love having the ball. I love creating lots of opportunities. I love pressing a team high because you have more of the ball. I love to create a lot of chances for our attackers, but we're facing opponents here, and we're not the dominant side in this league. So we approach every game to win, and any approach for that will be made.
Just looking ahead to the game tomorrow night, there was a couple of injuries in the squad at the moment. Harry Winks picked up a groin problem, and Caleb Okoli from the weekend. How are they doing ahead of tomorrow night? Will they be fit?
Caleb was part of, before individual training today, he was part of team training. That looked good. We were waiting on his reaction because he pushed to be there today with the team. So see how the reaction is. If everything's all being well, he can be in the squad tomorrow. Harry is doing individual work. He's still not part of team training, but his rehab's going well, and it's not a long-term injury. So hopefully we can welcome him soon in the squad too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Cheers.